I'm Walter Cronkite, inviting you to join us for the CBS Evening News each weekday immediately following the 5:30 report with Mike Shain.
Mike Shain is the most recognizable face in the heartland today. He's been anchoring the news on KFES 12 for more than 3 decades. But long before Mike ever stepped in front of the camera, he had established himself as a pioneer in the field of advertising.
I started out with foot cone and belting back in the 20s, got my start selling tonics, and then moved into cigarettes. But our biggest client at the time was Ford, and Ford was coming out with this mid-priced line of cars and turned to us to name it. I suggested we call it Edsel. Didn't turn out that good.
The failure of the Edsel campaign crushed Mike, and a nightmare descent into drugs and alcohol soon followed. But Mike would bounce back, signing a star NFL running back to a long-term contract with Hertz.
We'd show O.J. slicing through airport crowds, jumping over turnstiles.
Brainstorming with Budweiser.
What people really want is a drier beer.
And Coca-Cola.
If they like old Coke, wait till they try new Coke.
Followed by yet another nightmare descent into drugs and alcohol. But like the phoenix, Mike would rise from the ashes yet again, this time as a political consultant to prominent Democrats like Gary Hart.
Oh, we were close. I even let him and his secretary borrow my boat one weekend.
Michael Dukakis.
I told him, climb up there in the turret of that tank and show them that you mean business.
And most recently, John Kerry.
Well, I guess it's not exactly the way the American people want to picture their president.
Then, more drugs and alcohol. Mike's remarkable streak continued as an advisor to some of Hollywood's top entertainers, signing megastars Warren Beatty and Dustin Hoffman to a surefire hit.
We called it Ishtar.
Working with contemporary screen idols Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
It's pronounced Gilly.
And that guy who played Vinnie Barbarino on Welcome Back, Kotter.
I must have been drunk for most of that.
So what is Mike up to these days? Well, luckily, he's always had his career as a polished broadcaster to fall back on.
Councilman Bill Sparks on the telephone in Poplar Bluff right now, as soon as we can find the telephone here. We lost it for a moment.
And on the side, he's organizing a Milli Vanilli reunion tour.
Which I think people and the Show Me Center are ready for.
Mike, I think Rob Pilatus has been dead for about 6 years now. Now, fresh from the Betty Ford Clinic, here to present this year's ADDY Awards, Mr. Mike Shain.